No Canadian team has won a Stanley Cup since 1993. The last team to do so was the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm going to go ahead, remove every American team from the NHL, and then that would only leave all Canadian teams remaining to finally go on and bring Lord Stanley back to Canada, finally break the curse of a Canadian team finally winning a Stanley Cup. I have gone ahead and removed every single American NHL franchise, and I also brought back the other Canadian franchise, the Quebec Nordiques, 89 overall, so Ottawa is not alone in the Metro. We got two Canadian teams in every single division, Montreal, Toronto. There we got Vancouver, Winnipeg, and then finally with the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames. Now, we should be pretty familiar with the NHL or the Canadian NHL teams' rosters. I mean, Winnipeg is a pretty good team. Taking a look at Calgary, not a great team. Most likely not going to have a lot of success here. The Edmonton Oilers might, in fact, be the favorites to dominate this sim. Who knows? They got a very good team, and they usually tend to simulate out of this world. Montreal, I mean, they're in a rebuilding phase right now. I don't expect them to do too good. Ottawa, now Ottawa's a tricky one. They could be bad or they could be very good. They did get a goalie at a 90 overall all-mark, so he should definitely improve their defense, but they could also flop and not be very good at all. Quebec, now Quebec is a wild card. They got a pretty good forward core though, so I think they're going to do pretty decent. Toronto is Toronto. Most likely a first-round exit every single season. Also, that hairline is absolutely hideous. And then finally for the Vancouver Canucks, we know the Edmonton Oilers own them, so if they don't play Edmonton, they should be good, but if they do, it is most likely booty cheek clapping time. At the end of season number 1, no surprises, the Oilers went 78-4-0, 156 points. They took home the President's Trophy as the league's best team. Toronto was very good. Vancouver up there. There it is. Ottawa, 65 wins, 4th in the league. The Jets were good. Quebec was up there. Calgary was, I mean, all these teams, considering they're all going to be playing a bunch of scrubs with the European teams that are in the league, they're all going to have great records and most likely are all going to make the playoffs every single season. So they all have an equal shot at winning the Lord Stanley. The Lord Stanley, what am I even saying? McDavid's back in his 23 form, 62 goals, 152 points. Marner, hey yo, Mitch the bitch, 139 points on the season. Nylander had 135, Draisaitl 132, Matthews, I mean, he scored 76 goals. Speaking of goals, he's going to take home the Maurice Richard. McDavid at 62, Hyman 48, Connor 47. And I mean, nobody else really scored a lot of goals. Shout out Patrick Fortnite Line, 41 goals, 74 points. That's a pretty good comeback season, especially for his first with Le Montreal, as he put up 22 goals and 52 points, almost point per game. But I mean, his goal scoring has never been the same since literally his sophomore season in the NHL. The best goalie in the league and Stuart Skin Daddy Skinner will have 66 wins, leading all goaltenders, and for shutouts, Connor Hellebuck will lead the way. He had 14, Wall 13, Skinner 12, as well as Demko, and Ron Hextall on the Quebec Nordiques, who's an 87, put up 11 on the year. And here we go, year number 1 playoff bracket. Let's see our matchups. None of the Canadian teams are playing each other, so this should go perfectly. Hopefully all of them do make round number 2 to then play each other. And that's when the real playoffs actually start. Now, here's when the real playoffs start. We got Vancouver, Winnipeg, the Battle of Alberta, Toronto, Montreal, and then Ottawa and Quebec. 4 great series. Here we are in Game 6 of the first round. Battle of Alberta. Edmonton is leading the series 3-2 and the game 2-1. Trying to close it out here in Calgary. There it is. Connor Brown gives the Oilers an insurance marker. 5 minutes to go. I don't know if the Flames really have the offense to compete with the Edmonton Oilers. 4-1 lead. It doesn't look like it. Jeff Skinner and the Edmonton Oilers are off to Les Conference Finals. Le Pekka Pasta messed up. I guess we're headed to 7 here with the Oilers and the Flames, as Ottawa did beat the Quebec Nordiques in 6 games. So this is our only Game 7 so far. Let's see what goes down. Here we are, an actual meaningful game. Game 7, round number 2. We got a tie game now. It's all knotted up at 1 apiece. The Flames and the Oilers, what can they do? We are definitely going to have to hop into this and see what happens here. Hopefully, we do not have overtime. That would be catastrophic. All right, here we go. Game 7, about 5 minutes left to go in the third. All knotted up at 1 apiece. Can somebody please score and not have overtime? If there is overtime, I will hop in for at least 1 overtime period frame. Oh my God, Blake Coleman gets robbed by the best goaltender in the world. McDavid versus Kadri on the draw. McDavid wins it back. He snapped it back with his foot like Lionel Messi. Leonalo. I don't know how to say his first name. Doesn't matter, though. McDavid coming in. Shoot it. McDavid, shoot it. There it is. Rebound. Leon, the big German, I guess was blind as a bat as he couldn't see the puck. Was literally right in front of him. Nonetheless, calm down. 1:35 to go. Kuzmenko looking. He's waiting. He's going to curl back. Get bodied by Bouchard, though. Hyman, beautiful. Up to Leon. Over to Connor on the breakaway. McDavid. 5-hole, and Vladar will make the save. A beautiful save. Vladar literally just saved the Calgary Flames season. McDavid gets a clear-cut breakaway. He goes forehand, backhand, tries to go five. Actually, no, he tried to go glove side. And Vladar was up to the challenge. A beautiful save as the Calgary Flames are still in this game. Come on, Edmonton. I cannot see you guys literally lose to the Calgary Flames. That would be horrible. Rasmus Anderson. Oh, no. Delayed penalty. No, we're going to be on the penalty kill to start OT. Zach Hyman takes an interference call. Are you kidding me, Shaq? All right, we got 40 seconds of PK time here to kill off. As Matthias Janmark looking. Janmark over to Ekholm, trying to bury it, and Vladar makes another great save. That was on the PK. Here come the Flames. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Can they cook? Nice between the legs. Oh, no. Sharangovich scores with 20 seconds left. 27 seconds left. As the Calgary Flames, no way they're going to beat my Edmonton Oilers in round number 2. Are we kidding me? Just a wide open one-timer. Where's the defensive zone coverage? Matthias Ekholm and Darnell Nurse are both in front of the net picking fucking dandies. I don't know. Oh my God, we're not going to have enough time to score. Goal leaders, I don't even care. Igor Sharangovich just scored the biggest goal of his NHL career. 27.9 seconds to go. As we gotta wait, we gotta push here. We might even need an empty net. Empty net for the Oilers. Come on, empty net. Hyman trying to dig it out. Why are we not pulling the goalie? There it is. In front, Vladar makes the highway robbery save on Leon Draisaitl. The only player I would want over Leon Draisaitl in front of the net all alone probably would be Connor McDavid. But look at this, wide open. There's a screen in front as well. Leon gets it. Why, Leon? Why? Did he even make the save? He did make the save. Vladar makes a beautiful glove save with a screen. He is literally screened by 2 of his players, and he still makes the save. Absolutely horrendous. 15.8 left to go. We got to push. Do we still have an empty net? Extra attacker out on the ice, and we have full pressure. Draisaitl back to the point to Bouchard. Ekholm blasted, and Vladar will cover it up yet again. 7 left to go. Draisaitl over to Skinner, shooting, and Vladar. Man, Vladar is literally a brick wall right now. We only have 3.5 left to go. There it is. 3.4 to go. Come on, win it. Hyman. Somebody has to shoot McDavid. Somebody, no. And the Calgary Flames are now off to the conference finals as they have defeated my Edmonton Oilers in the Battle of Alberta. Here we go. Conference finals. Final 4 teams. Winnipeg and Calgary. And then we have the Battle of Ontario in the East. Who will make the Stanley Cup finals? Here we are in a Game 7 scenario. Calgary down by 1 to Winnipeg, a 1-0 lead. Can the Jets hold on, or can Calgary? There we go, Blake Coleman, but Alex Iafallo will take the lead right away. 2 quick goals. Sandberg, there it is, insurance marker for the Jets. Can they hold on? 5 minutes to go in this third period. Are they going to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals? The Flames, Anthony Mantha gets them back to within 1. And it doesn't look like there is a comeback in the ice. The Stanley Cup final matchup is set. We got the Winnipeg Jets versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Winnipeg, no Stanley Cups in franchise history. Toronto, basically no Stanley Cups, considering the last time they won, there was not even a round 3 in the NHL, and there was only 6 goddamn teams. But there is a 7-game series. These 2 teams will battle it out to see who's going to go on and win the Stanley Cup in year number 1. The Toronto Maple Leafs are now 17 minutes away from winning the Stanley Cup. Willie Nee gives them a 3-0 lead in the third period. The Jets 4-0. Jake McCabe scores on Connor Hellebuck, getting lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree for the first time since 1967, and for the first time since there was not 6 teams in the league. The Toronto Maple Leafs will go all the way and win the Stanley Cup. They dominated the Winnipeg Jets here in Game 6. I believe the score was 5-0, so they literally was not even close. The Jets are getting booed off their home ice here as their fans are absolutely livid at the effort that their team put out on the ice. The Conn Smythe will go to Willie Stiles. 9 goals, 26 points for Willie Nee, as he's going to take home his first Conn Smythe of his career. Probably the best playoff performer out of the big three in Toronto, and he's getting rewarded for it with a Conn Smythe trophy. And there it is, Lord Stanley being presented to the Leafs. What am I witnessing right now? I don't even understand it. The newly minted captain, never mind, the captaincy was not even updated. John Tavares, come on up and lift Lord Stanley, baby, as the Toronto Maple Leafs have gone all the way here in year number 1. Screw that tummy ache guy, who presumably is the new captain of the team. William Nylander will lead the league in scoring for the playoffs with 26 points. Tummy Ache had 24. Mitch Marner, 22. Josh Morrissey was actually very good. Alex Iafallo had 9 goals and 21 points. Sharangovich had 11 goals, and one of them was a game winner over my Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid will take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross and Hart Trophy. Matthews, the Maurice Richard. Bouchard will take home the Norris. Obviously, Willie Stiles, the Conn Smythe. Stuart Skinner, the best goalie in the world, will win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Connor McDavid. If one of your guys' favorite teams is a Canadian team, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on as we now head into season number 2. Toronto obviously got the job done in year 1, and now we're going to see if they can go back-to-back. If the Oilers can recover, now the Quebec Nordiques will finish as the best team in the NHL, 71-10-1, 143 points, followed by my Edmonton Oilers, who had 69 wins. Nice. Ottawa was good. Toronto was up there. Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, and then Montreal, yet again, the worst Canadian team. But they still damn near won 60 games, made the playoffs, so they still have a shot at winning the Stanley Cup. Connor McDavid will lead all skaters in scoring yet again, 133 points, followed by Draisaitl's 132. Bouchard had 125. Hyman had a good... Oh my God, the Edmonton Oilers cooked this season. Connor had 121. Morrissey had a great season by D-Man. Mitch Marner was decent. Peter Forsberg put up 108 points. Kyle Connor will have the most goals by any player with 73, followed by Hyman, 62. Matthews had 60. DeBrusk, 48. McDavid had 48. And Brady Tkachuk, 45. Now for the goalies, again, Skinner, best goalie in the world, 57 wins. We know the deal. And he had 17 shutouts. Ain't no way Skinner just had possibly the best goaltending season in NHL history. And here is our year number 2 playoff bracket. Pretty much the same exact matchups that we had last season, but hopefully different results as the Edmonton Oilers cannot lose again to the Poverty Flames. So there was no close series in round number 2, but here we are in the conference finals. Thank God Edmonton swept the Poverty Flames. We got Oilers, Jets, Nordiques, and Toronto, who will go on and play for the Stanley Cup. And now in the Stanley Cup Finals, we got the Winnipeg Jets up against the Quebec Nordiques, coming back to the NHL and now have a possible chance at winning the Stanley Cup. And here we are in Game 6, Quebec trying to force 7, and the Winnipeg Jets trying to win the Stanley Cup on home ice. Sakic, Joe Sakic, I had a break. What on earth, EA Sports? What is that AI, man? I swear, if this AI ain't top-notch in 25, I'm going to lose my mind. Joe Sakic has a clear-cut breakaway. If he just skates in a straight line, instead he decides, nah, I'm going to take a bunch of curls and just, look at that. He let all 3 defenders all 3 back checkers from the Winnipeg Jets catch him. Like, he could have easily went straight to the net, backhand, forehand, high glove side on Hellebuck, lit up like a Christmas tree, and we get a tie game. Instead, this is what we get in NHL 24. Nikolai Ehlers coming in, waiting over Connor, shooting, and a great save by the Quebec netminder. Joe Sakic moves the puck up, 50 seconds to go. Ablin over to Forsberg. Peter Forsberg, empty net for Quebec, and a great glove save by Hellebuck. He's going to play that, though. He wants that clock to dwindle down. He wants the clock to wind down. Sakic shooting. Another great save by Hellebuck. 35 to go. Scheifele, where are you going, Scheifele? You got to move that puck, brother. Moves it up to D'Amelio, and he puts it in the back of the net, which will pretty much seal the deal here in season number 2. And the Winnipeg Jets will seal the deal, winning the Stanley Cup here in year number 2 as they defeat the Quebec Nordiques in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Toronto did not go back-to-back, didn't even make a Cup Final appearance. Despite a strong effort from the Nordiques, Winnipeg was just clearly the better team of the 2. And they are going to get rewarded for it as they're going to be able to raise the Stanley Cup on home ice as Kyle Connor will bag the Conn Smythe Trophy. 12 goals, 24 points, a great playoff run for him as he's one of the better goal scorers in the NHL currently. And there it is, the Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history, not only being raised in Winnipeg, but being raised for the Jets. Adam Lowry, the best captain in the league. Come on up, buddy. You now are a Stanley Cup champion literally forever. Peter Forsberg had a playoff run for himself. 30 points in 22 games wasn't enough to win the Conn Smythe or the Stanley Cup. Joe Sakic had 14 goals. Sundin, 25 points. Kyle Connor was good. Owen Nolan had himself a playoff run, as well as Josh Morrissey. Draisaitl will take home the Ted Lindsay and Hart Trophy. Art Ross to McDavid. Connor will take home the Maurice Richard. Norris to Bouchard. Connor also the Conn Smythe. Skinner, back-to-back Vezinas, and back-to-back Selkes for the best player in the league in Connor McDavid. Now, at the end of season number 3, we got the defending champs, the Winnipeg Jets, winning the President's Trophy. 69 wins, 9 losses, 4 in overtime for 142 points. Followed by Ottawa, who did have more wins, the same amount of points, but I guess they lost the season series. Quebec was very good. Edmonton, Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, and Calgary all made the postseason. Connor McDavid is the best player in the world, leading not in goals. That would be Shaq Hyman, tying Austin Matthews with 65. McDavid had 54, Connor 54, and Joe Sakic 51. And on the point side, I mean, nobody was even close to McDavid, who had 149. Draisaitl 127, Sakic 122. Forsberg was decent. Quinn Hughes was good. And for the goalies here, we got Connor Hellebuck winning 60 games, and for the most shutouts, it will be a 3-way tie between Hellebuck, Hextall, and Linus Ullmark. And here we go yet again, the same exact playoff matchups for the 3rd straight season. Who's making the conference finals? And now in the conference finals, ain't no way Calgary beat my Oilers again. What is going on, Edmonton? Every other simulation I do, they always go on and dominate, winning multiple Stanley Cups, but now they can't even get close to one. We got Winnipeg, Calgary, Quebec, and Toronto in the conference finals. Let's see what happens. And now here we are in the Stanley Cup finals. Winnipeg trying to go back-to-back, and the team that won it in year number 1, the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it's only fitting that whoever wins this was the best Canadian team in the video, considering they will have the most Stanley Cups in the video. Can the Winnipeg Jets seal the deal? They got a 3-1 lead here in the 3rd period, up 3-2 in the series in Toronto, trying to win their 2nd straight Stanley Cup. Or will the Toronto Maple Leafs have some sort of a comeback? 5 minutes to go. We might have to hop in here. We got Game 6 in the Stanley Cup Finals. The Jets are less than a minute away from going back-to-back and spoiling the Toronto Maple Frauds. It's fraud check time in Toronto. They were never that good. Just be honest. They were literally never that good. 46 seconds left. Empty net. Mark Scheifele gets bodied at the blue line. Kyle Connor loses the puck as Morgan Riley. The Leafs are down by 2. They got to do something. They got to do something quick here. Connor over to Scheifele. Bad turnover. Ehlers up to Morrissey. 32 seconds remaining. They're going to play it safe and dump it in. McMahon up to Nylander. Not a lot of time left. It doesn't even matter. The Toronto Maple Frauds have choked yet again. McMahon coming in. Is he going to shoot? He's not going to shoot, and that's pretty much going to do it. That is all she wrote, baby. And there we go. The Winnipeg Jets will become the first team to win 2 Stanley Cups and the first team to go back-to-back, as they won in years 2 and in year number 3, defeating Toronto in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. It was a bit of a close series. I mean, Winnipeg was clearly ahead, but it could have gone either way. Toronto, they got fraud checked big time. I mean, they are literally the biggest frauds in the NHL. As the Conn Smythe will go to Kyle Connor back-to-back seasons. This time he had 15 goals and 26 points. And there is the Stanley Cup being raised in Toronto, but for the Winnipeg Jets, as Adam Lowry will come all the way up yet again. He's going to come very hard and viciously, as he's going to take home the Stanley Cup for Winnipeg for the 2nd year in a row. No surprise, as Kyle Connor will lead all skaters. He had the most goals at 15 and the most points at 26. Nino Niederreiter had 22, Velarde 21, Scheifele 21, as well as Morgan Riley and Nikolai Ehlers had 18. McDavid will take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross and Hart Trophy. Shaq Hyman the Maurice Richard. Hughes will take home the Norris. Kyle Connor will win the Conn Smythe. Ullmark the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Joe Sakic of the Quebec Nordiques. That will do it for this video, as the Winnipeg Jets are the clear winners and are the best Canadian team in NHL 24. They won 2 out of the 3 Stanley Cups, going back-to-back in year 2 and year 3. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you leave some support on it. I would like to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.